Hey everyone, and welcome to Can You Defeat Pokemon Yellow as Brock?
My name's Brock. Nice to meet you.
Now what I'm going to be doing today is playing through Pokemon Yellow as if Brock was the one fighting for the badges and trying to become a Pokemon Master instead of Ash. So we're going to see if Brock's decisions in the anime were enough to help him defeat the game and defeat the champion and become the ultimate Pokemon Master. So we have just a few rules I wanted to go through before we start today's episode. The first one is that we have to catch all of the same Pokemon Brock caught in the anime and try to keep it as accurate as possible to the timeline. Also, we're going to try our best to keep accurate move sets when we can. You'll see in the episode it becomes a little bit difficult at certain points, but we'll try our best. And we're just going to see if we can defeat this game using the exact decisions that Brock made in the show. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode. So sit back and relax and enjoy. So one morning, Brock wakes up and tries to leave out in the grass when Professor Oak comes over to save him. He says wild Pokemon live in the tall grass. Suddenly an Onix appears and Professor Oak decides to catch the Onix to save Brock from getting harmed. So Professor Oak and Brock are going to head back to the lab, and Professor Oak is going to offer Brock a Pokemon. Gary is waiting as well, and Gary would like a Pokemon as well. So Professor Oak is going to offer Brock the Pokemon on the table, and Gary is going to come along and steal it from him. So Gary's going to come in, snatch the Pokemon, and leave Brock with nothing. So Professor Oak offers Brock the Pokemon he caught earlier, which is in fact the Onix. So Brock receives an Onix and we're on our way. Now sometime before the first gym, we're not really sure, but Brock is going to encounter a Geodude and catch it. So Brock is running in the route, he encounters a Geodude with his Onix, and he's going to go ahead and battle this Geodude and throw a Pokeball at it. So we hit him down with Screech a few times, we try to damage him but eventually give up and throw the Pokeball, and Geodude is caught. So our team is up to 2 with Onix and Geodude, and that is how it will be when we get to the first gym.
Onix, tackle attack. Onix, bind it now. Bad strategy. Don't you know flying Pokemon are weak against rock types?
Alright, so as you can see from those clips, if we're going to be anime accurate, Geodude we didn't see use any moves, it just punched the Pidgeotto, and Onix we saw use Tackle and Bind. So we at least had to get Onix to level 15 to learn Bind, but that was the only restriction here. Alright, so our first gym battle, we've got Brock on Brock here. So we're going to send out our Geodude versus his, hit it with a couple of tackles, which ends up being painfully slow. So we're going to decide to switch into Onix here and just bind it a bunch of times. So we're going to bind it a bunch of times here.
5 minutes later.
Until finally he is down. Then he's going to send out his Onix, and we're just going to Screech it a whole bunch of times and then bind.
2 hours later.
Until finally he is down to nothing. So quite a boring battle, but we finished it and we beat Brock pretty easily.
A Zubat!
I captured it just before we entered the cave.
Alright, so you can see from that clip in Mount Moon when Ash and Brock get there, Brock catches a Zubat off screen and then shows it when he sends it out for battle. So we're going to run into a Zubat right here, drain it down to low HP, throw a Pokeball at it, and we're going to catch a level 8 Zubat.
Lost? How rude.
Let's teach him manners. No! Zubat, double team now!
Alright, so Team Rocket is going to show up in Mount Moon, so we're going to battle Team Rocket, and you also saw Zubat whip out a Supersonic and a Double Team move during that battle. So we're going to have to make sure we get both of those moves onto Zubat before the next gym battle, but we're quickly going to take care of Team Rocket here with Zubat and Geodude. So they've got Meowth, Ekans, and Coughing just like they do in the anime, and Onix is going to come in and finish these guys off. So they've got a Coughing left. We're just going to hit it a few times with Screech and then attack it with Tackle to take away Team Rocket.
You may have won this round, but we'll be
Alright, next up is the Cerulean City Gym, and this is going to be probably our hardest battle in the game because of the water type, and we really only have rock. But we've got Zubat up to level 16. We added Supersonic and Double Team. We got Geodude to 18 with pretty much the same moves, and Onix to level 20. And we added Dig in there because we do see Onix use Dig on Team Rocket back in Mount Moon. So I tried to keep the team roughly the same level as Misty and see if we could beat it. So our first attempt at Misty didn't really go too well. You'll see in this first clip, we started with Zubat to try and confuse the Staryu, but it just doesn't work and it's gonna eventually take us out. So we're down to 2 rock types against the water type. We have it confused for a bit, but it breaks through and is pretty much going to sweep our entire team with Water Gun. So I tried this multiple times with these levels and it just didn't work. So I decided to train up the team a little bit more and come back and try it again. So our second attempt, we've got Onix at 23, and Dig is enough finally to take out the Staryu. But we're going to switch into Zubat for the Starmie, try to confuse it with Supersonic before switching back into Geodude. And you'll notice Geodude has the self-destruct move now, which we use to take out the Starmie and defeat this gym. So this one might have looked easy, but believe me, this took me a lot of tries and a lot of attempts, and it was not a fun time. But regardless, we beat it and we're moving on. Okay, between the second and third gym, nothing really happens for Brock in the anime, so we just got the same Pokemon updated a little bit. Geodude 24, Onix 24 as well, Zubat 21, and that other Pokemon is just to use Cut to get into the gym. So let's hop into this gym battle and see what we can do against Lieutenant Surge, who only has a level 28 Raichu. So this should be a pretty easy gym battle. I think it only took us the one try. We've got Geodude using Rock Throw a few times, and you can see that Surge just can't hit us with anything, and we easily take out that thing. So we're going to take our Thunder Badge and head over to the next city, which is Celadon. So nothing really happens again with Brock before we get to Celadon, so the team's looking pretty much the same. We've got Zubat 28, Geodude 27 with the same moves, and Onix level 31 with the same moves. I'm trying to keep them roughly the same as Erica's team, and we'll see what we can do here. So this battle was pretty hard as well, seeing as grass is very effective against most of our Pokemon, but we decided to lead off with Zubat and start confusing the Pokemon. So we set up a Confuse Ray and start going for some wing attacks. We keep wing attacking and Confuse Raying this Tangela for a little bit here.
5 minutes later.
Alright, so the Tangela is down and she's going to send in her Weeping Bell. Now we're just going to go for the same thing, Confuse Ray a couple times. She's going to put us to sleep, but we'll wake up right away and keep attacking. So one thing I noticed about this game when I was playing is Leech Life is actually super effective against poison types as well. So since it's already super effective against grass, Leech Life ends up being 4 times effective against both Weeping Bell and Gloom. So that was really the key factor here. was just confusing the two and hitting them repeatedly with Leech Life, while also gaining some health back. So you can see this Gloom is getting hit by Confused, and we're just going to Leech Life it one more time to take out Erica and get our 4th badge.
Right now, I believe you could do a better job of raising Vulpix than I could.
Vulpix?
All right, I got Vulpix.
So you can see in that clip, Brock gets his Vulpix given to him after the team passes through Celadon City. So the only thing we could really do is go to the game corner, get enough coins, and purchase a Vulpix. So that's what we did, and we gain our 4th and final member of the team.
Vulpix, wrap them up with Fire Spin!
Geodude, give him the seismic toss.
So you can see from those clips there that Brock's Vulpix actually knows Fire Spin when he gets it, and his Geodude actually whips out a Seismic Toss in that battle. So we're at the 5th gym here, and we've leveled up our team to try to be accurate with the anime. So we got Vulpix 35, Zubat 36, Geodude 36 as well with his new move Seismic Toss, and we've got Onix at 36 as well with the same moves. Vulpix doesn't learn Fire Spin till about 42, so I didn't want to level him that high because it seemed unfair, but he at least is 35 to know Flamethrower. So we're going to take on Koga here to try to earn our 5th gym badge. He's going to lead with a Venonat while we lead with our Vulpix. I realized after this battle that his Pokemon are very high leveled, but looks like all he has is Venonats and Venomoths, so Vulpix is making quick work of them with Flamethrower. Second one is down. He's going to lead or send out another Venonat at level 48 this time, which we crit and take out with one Flamethrower. And he only has one Pokemon left, which is a level 50 Venomoth. I really didn't realize it was that high, but we hit it with a Flamethrower and it hits back with Psychic, finally taking us out. But no problem, we just go into Onix here, and Bug Pokemon definitely do not like Onix. So we're going to go for a dig here and come through. He's going to hit back with a Psychic and actually take us out here. So we're going to go into Geodude this time, and Geodude should be able to use Explosion and get rid of this Venomoth. So that battle wasn't too bad, but Koga's Pokemon were definitely a little bit high. So next up is Sabrina's gym. In the anime, they actually went to Sabrina before Erica and Koga, which I thought was weird and didn't really make sense. So we decided to just stick with the order of the game. Our moves and levels didn't really change too much because nothing much happened with Brock in the anime between. So we start out with Zubat. She's got her level 50 Abra that we easily take care of, and then sends in a level 50 Kadabra. So we try to confuse it again, but he's going to Psywave us a couple of times. And so we're going to switch into Onix here while that Kadabra is confused and just hit him with a few digs. So the Kadabra keeps trying to recover, but it eventually hits itself and we take it out with a dig. Next up, she's going to send in her level 50 Alakazam. So again, she seemed pretty high, but we're going to switch into Geodude here, hit it with an Earthquake. He's going to Psywave, which won't kill us, and we can hit her with one more Earthquake to earn our 6th gym badge. So next up is Cinnabar Island and Blaine's gym. So for this team, we've got Zubat at level 38. He knows Wing Attack, Confuse Ray, Leech Life, and Double Team. Next up is Vulpix at 42. So we decided it was time to give Vulpix Fire Spin. Geodude is at 41. He's got Earthquake, Seismic Toss, Rock Throw, Explosion, and Onix is last at level 40 with Dig, Rock Slide, Bind, and Screech. So you'd think this would be an easy battle with us having Rock and Ground and him being Fire, but this was actually quite difficult. So we lead with Onix while he's going to Flamethrower us with the Ninetales. We're going to go for the Dig and hit that Ninetales with a crit and take it out. Next up, Blaine is going to send out his Rapidash at level 50, who decides to go for a Growl while we Dig again. This is not going to take it out this time, but we're going to keep trying the Dig. He's going to go for a Stomp, unfortunately for him, which doesn't kill us, and we take out his Rapidash. So he's just got one Pokemon left, which is an Arcanine at level 54, who's going to finally get rid of Onix. So we're going to go into Geodude here and try to hit him with an Earthquake. He's going to send a Fire Blast our way, which almost kills us, but not quite. We hit him with an Earthquake, which does over half, while he sends in a Flamethrower and finishes us off. So we're not looking too good. We send in Zubat, but he hits first with a Fire Blast, which absolutely incinerates the poor Zubat. And all we've got left is Vulpix. So we're going to try to Confuse Ray this thing. He takes us past half health with a Fire Blast, but we confuse him. And we go for the Flamethrower. He hurts himself in confusion, and we finish him off with a Flamethrower and a Quick Attack. So just like that, Blaine is down, and we have our 7th badge. Alright, last up we got our 8th gym battle, and this one was actually very difficult. It took me a lot of tries and a lot of training, but we ended up starting with Zubat and just setting up the double team. That was really my only strategy. So I set up a bunch of double teams and Confuse Ray, and now pretty much nothing can hit us. So anything he sends in, we just confuse it and wing attack it until we just kill it. So the Persian is going to go down without us getting hit. He's going to send in a Nidoqueen, and we repeat.
5 minutes later.
A lot of times when I was doing this, they would just hit me with Thunder and kill the Zubat, so it did take quite a few tries, but we ended up getting pretty lucky in this one until this point when they hit us with Thunder. But luckily Zubat survives one hit of Thunder and continues the strategy. So we just keep confusing him using Wing Attack. I didn't really want to beat it this way, to be honest. It felt kind of cheesy, but it was really my only option. I tried it many other ways, but I just couldn't do it. So he's got a 55 Rhydon as his last Pokemon, and we're just gonna keep hitting this thing slowly but surely. And then he eventually does hit us with a Rock Slide, so we're forced to go into Vulpix here. But we do have Confuse Ray still, so we confuse the Rhydon. Unluckily for us, he breaks through and kills the Vulpix. So next up, I decide to send in Geodude, but he hits Geodude with an Earthquake as well, so it's up to Onix. We decide to Dig, and he hits himself in confusion, so he's at red health, but luckily we survive an Earthquake to hit him with one more Dig and give us the 8th gym badge. Okay, so finally we've arrived at the Elite Four, and unfortunately when I was going through this, I realized Brock just isn't shown a lot in the anime after the first couple of gyms, so we don't really see him use any Pokemon or new moves for the remainder of the series pretty much. So we pretty much, to figure out the moves and stuff, just had to level up our guys to be close to the Elite Four and give them the moves that we thought they should have. So we've got Zubat at 56 here. He's got Wing Attack, Confuse Ray, Double Edge, Double Team. We've got Geodude up to 55. He's got Earthquake, Seismic Toss, Rock Slide, and Explosion. Next up we have Vulpix, also at level 55. He knows Flamethrower, Confuse Ray, Fire Blast, and Fire Spin. And last but not least, Onix at 56. And he's got Earthquake, Rock Slide, Bind, and Screech. Okay, so we start off with Lorelei here, and our team did not enjoy these ice and water types, with us having mostly fire and rock. So we decided to lead with Zubat and try the same strategy. I tried this other ways, believe me, but it just wouldn't work. So we had to lead with Zubat and set up that double team a bunch of times so that she couldn't hit us.
5 minutes later.
Fusion until we can take it out. Next up, she's going to go into Cloister. We're going to do the same thing, set up the Confuse Ray, and hope that she just hits herself and misses the move. So we go for a couple wing attacks here. Takes quite a while because Cloister has a high defense.
2 hours later.
And eventually this Cloister will go down to wing attack after quite a while. Next up, she sends in a Slowbro. So we're going to confuse the Slowbro as well. Start hitting it with some wing attacks. He's going to try to set up an Amnesia, but that's not really going to do much. Unfortunately, it just does take quite a lot of hits because Zubat isn't very powerful and these are some bulky Pokemon. But eventually we are able to confuse it again and hit it once more with wing attack, and that leaves her with only 2. Next up, she's got a Jinx at level 56. We confuse the Jinx as well. She goes for an Ice Punch, which does hit us. Fortunately, we are able to survive the hit, and even though we're frozen, just use a full restore to get us back to full. So we're going to keep going with the same thing. Wing attack, wing attack, wing attack until that Jinx is down. And last up, she's got a Lapras at level 56. We will get one more Confuse Ray in there and hope that she just doesn't hit us with a Blizzard. So we keep wing attacking. We go for a Double Edge. I realized Double Edge did a lot more damage. I could have been using that before. So that was a mistake on my part, but eventually we finish off the Lapras and defeat Lorelei.
Onyx, tackle attack! Use that Onyx is waiting!
Onyx, you want to come along with me? Pokeball, go! You're mine, Onyx.
So we do end up seeing Bruno in the anime here, as you can see in that last clip, and he does catch the Onyx on screen. And we do see Brock hilariously try to tackle the Onyx with his own Onyx, and it does nothing. So we're going to try to keep it somewhat accurate to the anime here and lead with our Onyx against his, knowing that he's going to send in an Onyx first as well. So he's going to send out his Onyx here. We're going to send in an Onyx of our own, and lucky for us, we are going to use Earthquake instead of Tackle, and that Earthquake is going to take out his Onyx in a quick 2 hits. So down goes his Onyx. Next up, he is going to send in a Hitmonchan, so we decide to switch into Vulpix here. Vulpix is going to go for a Confuse Ray to try to confuse the Hitmonchan. It ends up hitting itself, and we go for a Flamethrower. And that Flamethrower is going to take out the Hitmonchan and leave him with Hitmonlee. So he's going to X defend his Hitmonlee while we hit with a Fire Blast, and Vulpix is just a beast. Fire Blast takes it out in 1. He's got a second Onyx here, so we go back into our Onyx and continue with the Earthquake. So we hit him with an Earthquake. He goes for another X defend for some reason, and we get one more Earthquake to knock out his Onyx and leave him with 1. Last up is his Machamp, so we switch into Vulpix again. We're going to go for the Flamethrower here, take him down to half health, and he uses another X defend for some reason, so we finish him off with a Fire Blast. Alright, third up in our Elite Four is Agatha. So she's going to lead off with her level 56 Gengar while we lead with Onix. And that thing is going to Mega Drain us, which ends up taking out Onix. I didn't expect it to have Mega Drain, so that was a mistake on my part. But he's going to go for a substitute while we hit with Flamethrower with our Vulpix. And then he's just going to keep using some crappy moves while we take him out with a couple Flamethrowers. So Gengar really isn't too threatening with those moves. Next, she sends out her Golbat. We decide to stay in with Vulpix and go for some more Flamethrowers. So we hit the Golbat with the flamethrower, getting it down to half. He fails a supersonic and we take it out with one more. Next up, she has a Haunter, so we switch into our Geodude. Geodude's going to go for an Earthquake while she confuses us with Confuse Ray. Unfortunately, we hit ourselves, but we break through on the second one to take the Haunter out in one hit and leave her down to 2. Fourth up, she's got an Arbok, which is going to set up the Wrap, which is quite annoying. Wrap in this gen keeps hitting regardless and doesn't let you move, but we finally break through with an Earthquake and take out the Arbok in 1. So that leaves her with just her Gengar, level 60, which is quite high. It puts us to sleep, so we decide to try to wake up from the sleep, break through the confusion, and hit it with an Earthquake to give us our 3rd win. Okay, 4th up is Lance the Dragon Master, and this one was actually quite difficult. It took me quite a few tries, but we're going to go ahead and battle Lance here. So he's going to lead off with his Gyarados level 58, and really the only strategy I had here was to set up with Zubat. So I confuse the Gyarados and start setting up a double team. Again, I tried this normally. I did the other ones normally other than Lorelei, but this one was just too difficult. So Zubat sets up the double team strat once again, and we wait for Gyarados to keep hitting himself.
5 minutes later.
We keep hitting him with wing attacks and then finish him off with a double edge. Next up is a Dragonair. So we decide to go for a full restore on the Zubat. He's going to try a Thunder Wave and obviously miss. So we go for the Confuse Ray, and we're going to hit this thing a couple times as well. So a couple wing attacks should take out the Dragonair, as it's a little bit less bulky than that Gyarados. Okay, he's got another Dragonair here, so same thing, we're going to confuse it with Confuse Ray. And this one's got Ice Beam, so we're really hoping that he wasn't able to hit us with that Ice Beam. But luckily he hits himself in confusion a few times until Lance decides to heal up again. But that's fine if he wants to use his Hyper Potions on these guys. We're more than okay with that. Eventually take out the Dragonair, and then he sends out an Aerodactyl. So Aerodactyl's a little bit harder to take out because we can't really hit it that hard. But we decide to just hit it with a couple wing attacks. I sped up through this part because this was just painfully slow. He decided to use another Hyper Potion, so really this is just Confuse Ray, wing attack, wing attack, wing attack, until it eventually hits itself enough and we can take it out. Last up, he's got his level 62 Dragonite, which is quite frightening, but we decided to just go for the Confuse Ray again. He's gonna break through confusion actually this time and hit us with a Thunder. So I don't know how this ended up happening, but he ends up killing us. So our only other resort now is to go to Geodude and try to use Explosion. So I get off the Explosion, and it doesn't finish the Dragonite. So we have to go into Vulpix while he decides to Hyper Potion, unfortunately. So all that's left to do is Confuse Ray and switch to Onix. So we hit him with a Confusion and switch. He gets through with a Blizzard, unfortunately, but Onix is down. So all we have left is Vulpix here. So we're just going to go for the Confuse Ray, and it's going to hit himself. So we hit with a Fire Blast, bringing him down to half. He ends up hitting himself again, but one more Fire Blast just doesn't do it. But we actually get really lucky with the burn. So he's going to use Thunder on us, and we're going to take the Thunder, and the burn damage is going to take him out. And just like that, our final battle is here. So Brock versus Gary for the League Championship. So this battle was really quite difficult. So we go in with Zubat, confuse the Sand Slash, try to hit it a few times with Double Edge here. He's going to hit himself in confusion, luckily, a couple times, and we're able to take him out. Next up is an Alakazam. So we're going to switch into Vulpix here. And we're going to go for the Confuse Ray, but he hits first with Psychic. Luckily, we take the Psychic and survive. So he's now confused. He hits himself. So we go for the Fire Blast, which brings him down to half. And he hits himself again, and we finish with a Flamethrower. So we got quite lucky with that one. Next up is an Exeggutor, which we will just Flamethrower right away. We get quite lucky with the crit. He's going to go for the Barrage and only hit us twice, so we can finish him off with one more Flamethrower. Fourth up, he's got a Cloister, so we stay in with Vulpix and set up the Confuse Ray. He's going to break through though and hit us with a Clamp to take Vulpix out. Next up, I bring in Geodude and go for the Explosion. So luckily for us, Explosion will take out the Cloister and leave him with just 2. So we switch into Onix. He's got his Ninetales. He's going to Confuse Ray us, but we break through with Earthquake to hit that Ninetales down to low health. And we are going to hit ourselves in Confusion one more time, or 2 more times, until we finally break through with Earthquake, bringing him down to just 1. Lastly, lucky for us, he's got a Jolteon. Even though it's 65, this thing can't do much, so Onix is just going to spam the Earthquake a couple of times until that Jolteon is down, and we have completed the game. So Brock has defeated Gary for the Pokemon Championship. So I was quite happy I didn't have to really use the Zubat strategy in the last battle. It felt kind of wrong doing it, but there were just some battles that I absolutely had to use it. And we did get quite lucky in the last battle, especially with some of the confusions, but that's how it goes. And it did take me a number of tries to beat, but we're happy about it. So the Hall of Fame for Brock, we've got Zubat level 58. We've got Geodude level 55. We've got our Vulpix at level 57. And last but not least, our Onix at level 56. So that's going to be the end of this video, and we've answered the question, can you beat Pokemon Yellow as Brock from the anime? And the answer is yes. With a couple of cringy Zubat strategies in certain places, but it wasn't too bad. You know, Onix and Geodude had their weaknesses, but they were countered nice by Zubat and Vulpix, and it ended up being a decently balanced team. Unfortunately, Brock didn't get as much spotlight as I would have wanted. They kind of just forgot about Brock and didn't show him battling much, which is unfortunate. And he really only had the 4 Pokemon throughout Kanto, but that's how it goes. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. I put a lot of time and effort into making this video. I've been working on it for quite a while now, and I really appreciate you watching it. So if you enjoyed this video, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel. If anyone would like to see another video where I follow Brock into the Johto region, so let me know in the comments below if you're interested in seeing that. And thanks again.